Okay, there we go. So we decided that it's a nonfiction book. And what did we learn about the table of contents when we were talking about the table of contents last week?
Um, we learned that it
In
can
the
tell you
table of
where to go.
contents,
It can tell you where you should go for certain information. You
That's
don't want to
exactly
flip through the
right.
whole book.
Right. So if you, for instance, we had talked about, recovering from the flu, if you wanted to go straight to that topic, you would know to go to this chapter, The Body Fights Back. So you don't have to waste your time either flipping through the entire book or rereading the entire book. So the table of contents is good for that purpose. It's also good when you're summarizing because then if you're summarizing, you know that you should pull out a little bit of information from this chapter, a little bit from this chapter, a little from that chapter, and so on, because they wouldn't have an entire chapter on it if it wasn't important. Okay. So it'll help you with pulling out important facts from the main chapters. All right. So, yes, let's just kind of quickly flip through the book. We learned about what the flu is, and can anybody just give me a little background knowledge on what the flu is?
I can.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, the flu is something that infects your body and makes you sick.
That's exactly right. And the key to it is it's a virus. It's different than a lot of the other things that we get sick with because a virus cannot be treated with antibiotics. Okay, so a
And
virus
it's
kind of,
really and the
go ahead.
virus is contagious also.
Yes, and they are definitely, especially this one, can be very contagious. Very good.
Because I read the book and it said that virus was the avian virus, also known as the bird virus.
Yeah, the bird flu, and that's right. There are many different strains of the flu. So you might get a flu shot one year, but it won't help you the next year because the strain of the flu changes. Okay. All right. So we know that it affects your respiratory tract. We've kind of learned all about that. And this was a pretty easy discovery. How does the flu spread, or really any virus?
By sneezing,
Yep, sneezing, coughing, and then it's
shaking someone's hand.
right. Yes, it's anything that you touch or put on your face, in your mouth or your eyes. A lot of times you don't think about rubbing your eyes, but that's another way to spread germs. All right, and we talked a little bit about it mutating and changing every year, and how, I'm sorry, I should have, how it starts. A lot of times it starts with ducks. That's kind of weird. And then it'll move to chickens, and then, people come in contact with these kind of animals, and then it spreads with humans.
In fact, isn't that where the avian virus first started off?
That's
The,
exactly right. It
the
started with the
duck.
birds, the bird flu. And of course, people come in contact, with these animals, and then it hits humans. But the body does fight back. Does anybody want to give me a short little summary on how the body fights back?
I can.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, those white things are white blood cells.
Hmm.
That green thing is an infected cell with viruses.
Yes.
Now, those triangle things are antibodies. White
Hmm.
blood cells and antibodies both help to destroy the virus, the infected cell.
That's right. So the white blood cells releases antibodies and it kind of infects this infected cell and kills it, more or less. Good.
Infects the infected cell.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of funny, huh? Enters the infected cell.
It
And,
comes from a long line of infections.
right. And of course, we all know how to prevent, the flu. Obviously, washing your hands, covering your mouth when you sneeze or cough. And in fact, coughing into your sleeve is probably the best. Okay, and we talked about vaccines and then high risk populations, people who are more susceptible to getting the flu. A lot of times, older people and very young children and pregnant women, people with
Because they don't
diabetes.
have very good immune systems to fight back.
That's exactly right. Their immune systems are compromised. Well, with babies, they're just not as developed. With people
They're
over
starting to
65,
develop.
exactly.
And
All right.
old people, well, they lost most of it.
Exactly. Yeah, their immune system is weakening as they grow older. Pregnant women are working really hard at doing other things in the body, so a lot of times their immune system is compromised as well. And it makes sense that people, okay, Grace Elizabeth, you can turn off your camera. Healthcare workers, people who come in contact with a lot of sick people, well, they tend to get sick themselves. All right, a little, fun facts about did you know? And then, of course, how to treat the flu. History of the flu. We learned a little bit about how bad it used to be, especially before vaccines and before people really knew what was going on. I mean, they just
Glad I
didn't.
didn't live in that time.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, look how many people died in 1918 when the Spanish flu hit. 25 to 40 million people died. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, that's that's like half of a billion.
Exactly, exactly. And this is just, a chart to show how quickly it can spread. And it just started in one country. This is the Asian flu. Here
I
are
thought
some.
this part was pretty exciting.
Oh, well, go ahead, share. Why was it exciting?
Well, it was exciting because you learn about how what all happened and how the people tried to prevent it, and people tried to use masks to prevent it from spreading. And I can't believe that they even have to wear masks so that not everyone will get it. So,
Yeah, yeah, no, and that's I mean, they were basically trying to cover their mouth because a lot of times when you touch your mouth, that's how you ingest the germs. And then also, if they did cough or sneeze, they're not infecting others. So, kind of a funny way to go to school, though.
Yep.
yeah.
Going to school looking like Optimus Prime.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, do you guys
Oh, and
remember
a transformer.
what we talked about as far as a glossary and the importance of a glossary? Do you remember?
Mm-hmm. I can summarize that for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, a glossary is like a dictionary at the end of a book. If there's anything in the book, like words you didn't get, like
Hmm.
antibodies, epidemics,
Yep.
germs, just an example, microorganism, then you could turn to the glossary and define them.
Exactly. And it will tell you the part of speech and, of course, what page to find it on. So that's really helpful, especially as you're reading it. It might not make sense to you to turn to the glossary first, but as you read the book and come across a hard word, it's really helpful to flip to the back. Okay, so I am going to give me just a second, and I'm going to pull up that knowledge survey that you guys did before and after you read the book. So we'll talk about that, and then we could do a short little maybe compare and contrast if we have time, and a short summary. Okay. Sorry, I had the wrong book pulled up. I'm just like way ahead of myself.
It's fine.
I was like, we had to read that book. What in the world?
Oh, well,
Sorry.
we'll start it eventually, but you didn't have to have it done already. I just got way ahead of myself because I get so excited. All right, why is
I
this?
can't wait till the weekend.
I can't either. I am in need of a weekend, that's for sure, because my week has been pretty long. Okay, I'm pulling it up.
Trust me, my weekends gotta be the best.
Okay. So what I am showing now, it'll take your screen a minute to catch up. There we go. Is that knowledge survey. So we're going to just type into the chat either a yes or no answer. And I hope that you remember what you said before we read the book, and then you can see if your mind got changed afterward. This is a really good way to make connections, too. Okay, so first one, you're going to be typing yes or no into the chat. A virus
Can you zoom
causes
in,
the flu.
please?
Good. Getting a lot of yeses. Perfect. Number 2, coughing sends germs into the air.
Yep.
Okay, that one was pretty easy. Humans can get the flu, but other animals cannot. Oh, and this was a no, because remember we learned that it starts a lot of times in birds, and then sometimes it'll move to pigs or whatever else. So that was maybe some new knowledge for you after you read the book. Our immune systems have antibodies that attack and destroy viruses. Perfect. Yep, that was a yes. We actually learned that just by previewing the book and seeing that picture. So we didn't even have to read it, and we knew that answer. Keeping your fingers out of your mouth helps you stay healthy. And I've been talking about that all morning, so yes. Vaccines keep the flu virus from taking over your body. And that would be a yes. Theoretically, they should work. They do their best to figure out what the most popular strain of flu is every year, and then that's what they make into the vaccine. People who are very old or old are at the same risk of getting sick as everyone else. Oh, that was a no. Remember that chart? Old people are actually at a higher risk of getting sick because their immune systems, as they get older, are not as good. The Spanish flu killed over 20 million people worldwide. And that was a yes. It killed between 20 and 40 million people. That was a ton of people. And that was 1918. So, I mean, it was obviously before vaccines and before they really knew what was going on. Okay. Let me go back and let me pull up our main idea and details.
Mrs. Bruns, if you don't see my answers, it's because I sent them to you in a private chat.
Oh, I did, Tristan. So good job.
Okay.
All right.
Bruns?
Yes.
Can I read mine?
I would love for you to read yours. Are you going to read your important details from each section, or like an entire summary, or what?
Well, I'm going to read like the important details.
Okay, perfect. And that's what you were supposed to do as you read the book. Like I said, this is an excellent way to help you write like a 1-paragraph summary after the book. If you take only what's important from each chapter, then you'll for sure hit all the important points. So, okay, why don't we start with this first section? What is the flu? What was important to remember from that section? Go ahead, Adam.
Well, the flu is a virus that spreads quickly. It's a germ.
Okay. Sorry. Spread.
It says Charlie has arrived.
Oh, Charlie has arrived. Oh, okay. Yeah, Charlie, you're a little early. We're going to start at 10:15 with your group. He's a new kiddo, by the way, but you can hang out with us and try to go to your audio button. It's a blue bar and it says audio, and select mic and speakers instead of your telephone. Okay. But for now, Charlie, you could just kind of hang out because your group starts at 10:15. All right, this section, changing viruses. What was important from that section of the book?
Well, they can come from wild animals, but mostly birds, which the avian virus first started off.
Okay.
It can mutate and infect ducks, which is what it originated from, chickens, pigs, and then at some point humans.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. That word mutate, that it can start with birds and then it will mutate to other strains that will affect other animals, including humans. Good. All right. How about this one down? Oops, I've made too many text boxes. Hold on. This section right here that says preventing the virus from taking over. Let's hear from somebody new. Who wants to give me an important detail from that chapter?
I can.
Okay, perfect. Go for it.
So it's about how you can keep the flu from taking over, and it said that you can washing hands is a good way for defeating the flu.
Okay. All right.
And keeping your hand out of your mouth is also healthy.
Okay, perfect. So two quick and easy important details. All right, let's hear from somebody else. What about treating the flu? What was important from that chapter? And I got a question in the chat. Some of you might be wondering what this word mutate means. It means change. It can change, and it changes every year, actually, the virus.
Because what mutate is it can mutate into something even more powerful that at one point where it first originated could not affect humans, but other animals. But as it infected other animals, it started to mutate, transform, and then once it mutated, it went on to the human. It got the ability to go on to the humans.
That's exactly right. Thank you for explaining that for us, Adam. I'm sure Emma is very thankful. And then Grace Elizabeth was nice enough to type into the chat what was important from the chapter about treating the flu. And vaccines are a smart idea. That's one way to treat, or I should say prevent the flu. But what's another way, and anybody can answer this, another way to treat the flu?
Well, to wash your hands. Keep your fingers out of your mouth.
Yep, that's more preventing.
Oh.
But once you already have the flu, there is no cure, because remember, viruses can't be cured. But what was it? It was like rest, fluids. What else?
Vaccine. Oh wait, no. Like you could take some vaccines to prevent against it.
Yeah, absolutely. And making sure
it won't cure it, but it will help.
Yeah, making sure that you don't get it in the first place. And then once you do, if you do have it, rest, fluids, staying home, and Emma said ice pack and a blanket. And she saw that from that very
amazingly
picture that was in our book.
And I learned that vaccines are just more germs, but they're not as strong as field germs, so that your antibodies destroy the little things, and then they're ready to destroy the big things.
That's exactly right. What a vaccine is it is the flu. It's actually the strain of the flu in just a small dose. So your body attacks it right away and is used to it. So your body has already seen it. And so if you come in contact with it, you don't get sick from it anymore because your body has already attacked it and been used to it. So it's kind of cool. All right, history of the flu. What was important from that section? And anybody can answer that.
Well, I can tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, in March 11th, 1918, the Spanish flu killed over 600,000 people.
Wasn't it 20? 20 to 40 million? I thought it was more. I thought it was 20 to 40 million.
Yeah.
Well, either
That's
way, I
okay.
mean, the Spanish flu killed a lot of people in 1918. And does anybody remember the year that the vaccines started? I think it was a picture. Do you remember the picture? We can kind of go and
Oh
find it.
yeah, that picture.
Yeah, let's go find it. And
It
see,
was
this
like
is
a
what you
black
do.
and white picture.
After you read a book and you're charting down the important details, you actually should do this as you read the book. It's much easier. But you can always go back and flip back to that page. And whoops, I went maybe one too far. No, here we go. 1941, it looks like all the way back to 1941, they had started trying at least to do vaccines, which have improved over the year. Good. And
So
go ahead.
because I mean that was only half of it.
Right. Yeah, sorry, I'm just kind of moving my boxes around a little bit so you can see everything, hopefully. All right, and in conclusion, what was important about that conclusion chapter? Look to that.
I can tell you why.
Okay, well, I'm going to let everybody just take a glance at this last page, and then I want to hear from somebody new. So go ahead and reread this page silently. Okay. All right. Who would like to give me, whoops, wrong page, just a little bit of important information that you just read from the conclusion?
Well, that the virus cannot be cured but can be treated too.
Okay. Cannot be cured, but get a vaccine, in other words. And really, I think the summary, to be honest, guys, the summary is actually just saying everything that we've said in all of these other sections. So I really don't need to retype it because this is really just what it said. So now that we have gone through each section, we're going to write a summary. Okay, so I'm just going to pull up a text box and put it right here. Oh, hold on. Come on, text box. Where are you? There it is. Sorry, I got to move it. I'm going to move it and kind of make it a little bigger. Let's move it over here. All right, how should we start off our paragraph? Let's start with a good opening sentence. Remember, we want to catch the reader's attention, even though this is a nonfiction topic, which sometimes aren't as interesting. We still want to hook the reader.
Ooh, I got one.
Okay.
Influenza. What is it?
Oh, what if I change that just a little bit, Adam? And it's not going to let me indent. Sorry, guys. Just know that you should be indenting your paragraph. All right, influenza. ... The, I don't want to say deadly virus because it's not always deadly. How about nasty?
Sometimes all it does is just hijacks your cell, creates more, and then leaves.
That's right. Influenza, the nasty virus that spreads quickly. That's pretty good. That's, yeah.
Done.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, so now what we would do is just go right back to your chart. I've already used this detail. It's a virus that spreads quickly. Check. I'm going to delete it. Now, our next text box, birds can start the flu and mutate. The virus can mutate. and infect other animals. Okay, so now I want to start talking about that. How about the virus usually starts in birds, but can mutate and infect other animals, including humans. Ooh, what do you guys think? Was that a pretty good sentence?
Yeah.
I thought so. It wasn't so bad. All right, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and did I use all of my important details? I did. So I'm going to get rid of that text box. All right, let's look at our next set of details. Washing hands is a good way to prevent the flu and keeping your hands out of your mouth. Anybody want to go ahead and give me maybe our next sentence? Okay, go ahead, Emma. Maybe she's typing it because I don't think her microphone's on.
Maybe we could.
And anybody else can speak up.
I think we should write that one way to prevent the terrible effects from the flu is by washing your hands and keeping your hands out of your mouth.
I like how we use that adjective too. Terrible effects of this virus is to wash your hands. Oops. And keep them out of your mouth. Which is actually
even after you wash them, you should keep them out of your mouth.
Honestly, even after you wash them, you should keep them out of your mouth because seriously, things you touch more things than you even realize. I did not mean to make a new text box. There we go. All right, so we used that bit of information. I want to hear from AJ. Our next bit of info that we need to include in our summary is that vaccines are a smart idea. And then if you do actually end up getting the flu, rest fluids, staying home, an ice pack, and a blanket might help. How do you want to say that, AJ?
Okay. How should I say it?
Let's start with this first detail. Vaccines are smart. So, how about it's a good It's a good idea to get the flu vaccine, but
if you do get the flu, rest and get fluids into your body.
Perfect. Gosh, I can't type today. Rest and ingest a lot of healthy fluids. Good. Perfect. See how easy this is and what a nice summary it makes of the book when you go ahead and just write down a couple key details along the way. All right, now we need to just include just a little bit about the history of the flu. Does anybody want to create a sentence about the history of the flu?
I can.
Okay, go for it, Adam.
This mutating germ is killing people worldwide.
Okay, I gotta scroll down, sorry.
Or is infecting people. That would be better, right?
Well, we're talking history, so this is in the past. So I'm going to change it to a past tense verb. This virus has killed millions of people in the past before vaccines were popular. For instance, in 1918,
The Spanish flu.
Mm-hmm. Spanish flu killed 20 to 40 million. Perfect. Oops. So actually, that ended up being 2 sentences, but that's okay. Not a big deal. And then, so let's write a nice conclusion sentence. Let's wrap it up. We don't want to leave it hanging. So remember, think of a paragraph as kind of like a hamburger. You got your opening sentence as the bun, the top bun, all the meat in the center, all those details that I've just, deleted along the way, and then the bottom bun, a nice conclusion sentence. Okay, and then go ahead,
Um, Viruses cannot be cured, but most of the time, vaccines help.
Cannot be cured, but vaccines can help. How about I change that a little bit because I want it to be a little bit more general. We've already done a lot of details about vaccines. I want it to be a little bit more general, just about the flu. So viruses cannot be cured, but there are ways, how about this, to prevent the spread of the nasty flu virus. That's just a nice general statement. I need to delete this last little bit. Okay, I'm gonna, hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna cut and paste everything that we just wrote so that you can actually read it and it'll be a little bit nicer looking. Maybe I won't because it's not letting me. All right, let's just spread it out as much as I can. Here we go. All right, it did let me indent. I just had to spread it out. Okay, do I have a volunteer to read our perfect summary?
I will.
Okay, go for it.
Influenza, the nasty virus that spreads quickly. The virus usually starts in birds, but can mutate and infect other animals, including humans. One way to prevent the terrible effects of this virus is to wash your hands and keep them out of your mouth. It's a good idea to get the flu vaccine, but if you do get the flu, rest and ingest a lot of healthy fluids. The virus has killed millions of people in the past, before vaccines were popular. For instance, in 1918, the Spanish flu
Sorry, there we go.
Killed 20 to 40 million. Viruses cannot be cured, but there are ways to prevent the spread of the nasty flu virus.
Perfect. I think the only thing that I would change is I used the adjective nasty twice, and we don't want to do that. Is there a different word we can use for nasty? And we've already used terrible.
Horrible?
Disgusting.
Disgusting. Yeah, disgusting's not bad. It's not really, disgusting flu virus. That's pretty good. Either way, that would be the only thing.
I know one adjective we could use that would be better.
Okay.
We could use unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
Oh, wait, how about wretched?
Ooh, I like these. See, you guys are getting good. Wretched. I don't know how to say.
Maybe we could use all of them.
Yeah, we could. We could make it unfortunate, wretched. How do I spell wretched, Adam? Do you know? Wretched? I'd have to
Hold
Google.
on, let me look it up.
Yeah. I know it's a word. I'm just not quite sure on how to spell it. So either way, that's...
Horrible.
Okay, and I need to put my commas because remember I'm using more than one adjective here. So I'll go back, put a comma. There we go. I like that a lot better. So we didn't overuse the same word. And what we did is we went back to each section of the book and made sure that we included something. So we were able to have a really strong, great summary. This is a strategy that I hope that you take with you when you are reading nonfiction or really any book. It's a good thing to make sure that you include only the main ideas from each section.
Miss Bruns,
Yeah.
Leech. In the sentence, the virus usually starts in birds but can mutate and infect other animals, and it says including humans.
Oops. Perfect. See, you caught it. You caught another little mistake. And so now,
Okay.
now we have a really good summary. All right, my friends, we are done for the day. You do not have any homework this time, and actually, you will not have a virtual classroom on Monday because Monday is Martin Luther King Day, so it's a holiday. So, I will see you 1 week from today, and we will start a new book, that microbes book that you saw earlier.
That was pretty funny. Yeah.
That was pretty funny. I get ahead of myself. But all right, friends, you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you next
Free day
Tuesday.
weekend. It's a free day weekend.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
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 In my 10-15ers, I'm going to stop the meeting so I have 2 different recordings, okay? So you'll have to log back in. Sorry.